The number one most important thing for every Ambazonian to do right now is the draft. We stand at the threshold of an existential struggle, a pivotal juncture in our proud history that brooks no failure, tolerates no hesitation. So we will draft incessantly, individually, within the warm, vibrant tapestries of our communities. We will draft. We must draft. Draft, for in this paramount task, our draft lies the power to liberate Amazonia.
Good evening and welcome to this very important broadcast. As some of you might already be aware, I was born and raised in Bamenda of Mezam. That happens to be the epicenter of the war between the two Cameroons. You have French Cameroon propagandist machinery would acknowledge today that Bamenda is where the so-called multi-partism was initiated in the early 90s. And Bamenda is a cause for attention. Mezam as a whole is a major cause for attention. Today, the people of the Southern Cameroons are grouping themselves together to draft the county of Mezam, the great county of Mezam, the county our vice president of late hailed from. If Vice President Eric Atte was alive today, as always, you would have him excited, mobilizing and energizing everybody to participate, not just because it's Mezam, but it's because his desire has always been to see into it that Ambazonia is not just ungovernable, but Ambazonia would safeguard their restored independence and ensure recognition with strength. So I'll be bringing the lawyers for us to have a very brief talk so we can look at what Cameroon is trying to do in Bamenda now and how the ASA are trying to stand against it. I want us to talk a little bit about election fraud. Barrister Fru, Barrister Mbeseha, you're welcome. Once again, I want to apologize for the late start because of some technical issues. Today, we are delighted to draft Mezam, and I know how important that is to you, Barrister Fru, that you are from Mezam, from Bafut LGA precisely. Barrister Mbeseha, that has been
Mancon. From Mancon, please.
Okay, from Tanka. From Tanka.
No. From Mancon, from Tachiton.
Tachiton. Okay.
Yes.
So Tachiton. I was raised in Gomolam, but I know.
I know that.
So today you are here and we have to draft Mezam. Please talk to us.
Yes. Mezam, like you rightly said, Paddy, is the epicenter of this revolution. We've lost a lot of our people in Mezam. Mezam has been adulterated by the Ayabacho phenomena. So you have a group of bandits running around and causing havoc in Mezam, kidnapping particularly Bamenda, kidnapping our people and asking for ransom. And most of our people can hardly bury their people without disturbance from the remnants of the ADF. But all said and done, Mezam remains the epicenter. La République de Cameroon hates Mezam, but they don't have any choice but to pretend to love Mezam even though we know that they hate Mezam, they have brought an arsenal of military hardware and is sitting there in Bamenda Station, that's Bamenda 3 in Bamenda, overlooking the city that is in the valley. And they have done all what they can do. They've killed a couple of young people and thrown in the Mezam River. They have killed and thrown in Naka. What have they not done? Those who come and go, Agai Robinson, the other guy in K, and then Buba now, they take delight in organizing raids and killing our people, organizing raids to extort money from our people. But that said, the Mezam County Executive has a duty to liberate Bamenda once and for all. How they do it? It will take resources. But they must and will liberate Bamenda before it's too late. Bamenda is under assault not only from La Republique, but from a group of bandits set up and financed by La Republique, because La Republique figured they could not do it alone. Bamenda is constantly under siege. The population of Bamenda has suffered a lot in this whole saga. But that said, we are calling on all the Mezam County Executive, on all the Mezam people to come on board and draft so that we can have money that will be part of the resources, because Mezam alone will not be able to liberate Bamenda. Mezam County alone will not be able to liberate Bamenda. So the federal government, until they see the effort of the origins of Mezam, to come to the aid of Mezam and liberate Bamenda, the epicenter. Bamenda is still standing strong because of the nature of the city. Paddy, you grew up in Bamenda, you know the Bamenda man doesn't give up that easily. But
yeah,
La Republique de Cameroon keeps pounding on Mezam. They set up all kinds of people to destroy the lives of the people in Mezam. And I can tell you, it is no fun. But Mezam is standing strong. Bamenda is standing strong, and is calling on all of Mezam people. That is all the seven LGAs to Mezam to come on board and liberate Mezam. We start by today, by drafting today, so that the federal government, having seen the effort, will harness its own resources and help Mezam to liberate Bamenda once and for all. It's a very tough thing, because Bamenda Station is littered with the best arsenals La Republique can find. They have all the military hardware in Bamenda Station, overlooking the city in the valley. But that is a very difficult task for Mezam military people, for Mezam County officials to overcome. But with the determination that they have, I believe that we can overcome, and with the help of the federal government, we can liberate Bamenda from the pangs of the death being brought to our doorstep every day by La Republique de Cameroon, by Ayabacho ADF bandits, which are proxies to La Republique, and Atanganji boys, whom Atanganji had recruited. All the bandits in the whole of Mezam are now centered around Bamenda. So that is where we are. I am not making a bleak picture. I'm not painting a bleak picture of Bamenda, because I know the Bamenda man will never give up. But that is a thing that we must recognize, that Bamenda is under siege by La République du Cameroon and its proxies and the bandits of Atanganji. We need help.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
we're gonna get into we're gonna get into that. Even looking at what Chuayaba did and what the country is doing to proactively repair some of the damages that have been caused in Bamenda. But I'd like to hear from you, Barrister Mbeseha. Immediately after that, we'll move into the newsroom to see what is happening with the elections that Cameroon is planning so desperately to organize in Amazonia. Please, Barrister Mbeseha, talk to us.
Well, this is Mezam, but let us be reminded that until the 60s, there was nothing called Mezam. We knew Bamenda, and Bamenda was life. Bamenda stood for something. Those of us who came from the Southern Zone and beyond, we never knew anything called Kambe, Womb, or whatever. We knew Bamenda. Nobody boarded a vehicle in Kumba and was going to Womb. No, they boarded cars to go to Bamenda. So it was a significant place. And then in the context of the history, what is today, which are called Bamenda, is more than the town. It's more than the county as far as Amazonia is concerned. It is the heartbeat of this place called Amazonia. It is of the struggle. But this to face there, we must overcome. Because again, Bamenda has a lot of meaning. I don't want to call it is in Bamenda in June 1961 that every single ambassador in Southern Cameroon and Northern Cameroon converged to put together the last thing that we were going to say in Fumban come July. That was the draft of what they proposed to be a constitution. It is in Bamenda that they gathered in June, what they called the All-Party Conference of Bamenda. And then they took it there, and every hope was dashed. Remember again, we're going to talk about elections. It is in Bamenda in 1990 that they launched the so-called democracy by killing 6 Bamenda boys, 6 Bamenda children, over the launch of the so-called SDF, which SDF went on to win the elections 2 years after, and they did, and the victory was destroyed. It is in this very Bamenda that Yaoundé pretentiously came with armored cars to pretend to bury New Frondy, the man that cheated of all the victory, the man that destroyed as a Democrat, the man that destroyed as a symbol of resistance, the man that swallowed, the man that completely assimilated in intellect and in physical human being. Because finally, Frondy died in Yaoundé. He was really assimilated intellectually, he was assimilated physically, and he was buried like an orphan. He was buried like a slave in what was supposed to be a town, a city of remembrance. Bamenda, the history of West Africa will never return without Bamenda in terms of their resilience, in terms of their political significance. Remember, we call it Mezam, but I think places like Bafoot, Ballet, all are part of Mezam. Remember the role the fund of Bafoot played in this struggle. Way back in the 1950s and 60s. This is Bamenda. This is what we call today Mezam. And so, we shall prevail, no matter the difficulties. It's not a Bamenda man show. It's not it's a new John Nsoh's show becomes from there. It is my show to show us because it's Bamenda. And Bamenda Mezam is the bedrock of the revolution. Whatever thing happened with Choyaba is irrelevant because your strength is tested only when you are challenged. Whatever thing Choyaba and others have done is just to test our resolve. And so that is only a recipe for us to think. That should encourage us. Move on and say, if we can let down any other country, it's not Mezam. Because Mezam has a wonderful significance in the struggle that we pursue now, in the struggle for which we are contributing our widow's might. And so I think we'll have time to deal with it. But that is Bamenda. Bamenda is bigger than Mezam. Bamenda is bigger than Cameroon, southern Cameroon. In fact, Bamenda is bigger than what they call Cameroon today. Because but for Bamenda, all those prostitutes you find over there in Yaoundé calling themselves political parties and taking money would never have even existed. And they did this over the blood of our own Mezam children who died as martyrs, who have never been remembered anywhere in the history of Cameroon political evolution. Over to you.
Yes, I've been following up the elections very, very closely. And one shocking thing that happened is Issa Chiroma invoking the will of, in quote, our forefathers, which is something I think we should talk about. But before we talk about, let's find out what's happening with election fraud and manipulation at the home front. And we'll have some excerpts of his video that we'll play and dissect it because it's important. It gives us one of the reasons why we need to equip the Amazonian State Army ahead of the fraud come elections October this year. So, Mike to the newsroom. Right after that, we'll be back with the analysis.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's Undaunted from the home front. It's happening in the front. And we have this report: kidnappings, rock bamboo university communities, armed gangs money major in ransom collection. Also tonight, uncertain revival, a partial resumption of crude oil refinery for December 2021. So tonight, Boya University Teaching Hospital, a forgotten project, redundant since 2018. Also tonight, as I said, Issa saw the turn on Amazonian crisis raises eyebrows ahead of the October elections. Now, these are the reports tonight, but right here we'll be spotlighting this election report with Tchiroma. Can we have that on the screen? In a revealing interview with journalist Mimi Issa Chiroma, a staunch defender of the French Union government opposition, appeared to adopt conciliatory regarding the Amazon crisis. Known for his previous headline statement and of the existence of a distinct Anglophone identity, now acknowledged the gravity of the conflict and the moves made by the state when asked why he was in her report when he traveled, he explained that he used to travel to the United States of America to engage with people about their heritage and the legacy of the fathers. He said his vision was to bring everyone together around a table of shareholders, united in solving the present problems facing them. But before he could embark on this, the police stopped him and him that he was not authorized Let's take a listen.
My intent was to go to the United States, many of them years of their position, to remind them Cameroon this is heritage handed over to us by the founding fathers. And the founding fathers, they had a religion, the nation, their religion. Political party, their tribe is their religion. This is the heritage we inherited from them. These beings, they are the one who settled the issue with colonial. Responsibility to remind that this is something all of us. We have to stand together and to protect and to defend this idea.
Questioned about why he should now, after defending the colonial system, he explained that if it had been possible to openly discuss the solution or to meet directly with the head of state, Biya, pursued negotiations. Even before 2018 election, he believed that would be the last time the incumbent would continue to. In fact, he had protested his desire to run again. He also mentioned that in 2020 he planned to release a press statement explaining that the election would be complicated. He also revealed that his supporters were so frustrated with the system that they threatened him if he insisted to vote for President Biya. That was spared because he never openly mentioned President Biya's name. Ultimately, he resigned from his previous position and run for the presidency himself, and by his commitment to support people. Let's take a listen.
This is the spirit which was mine. I was about to join you abroad in UK. I went to the airport with the visa, the United States visa, and ready on the plane. Then a car of police came to me without any document, said that he received information from the presidency, and according to which I must board the plane to go to the United States. I violently protest because no document, no official document can give me a convincing information. Well, I decided despite that I consider to be unlawful, I decided to apply because I didn't need to be the cause of any scandal at the airport.
The interview. It's clear that in his former role as Minister of Education, public declarations did always reflect his convictions. He emphasized that he had been merely a spokesman, delivering messages within the framework of the. He admitted that he had initially denied the existence of the Amazonian crisis, but later recanted after discovering he misled. Upon realizing the truth, he apologized, adding that his aunt had contributed to misinformation.
But when I realized, when I said that the information put to my disposal wrong, because of this problem was not brought to my knowledge. And when I apologize. I apologize because I was led by those who gave me the. When root cause to my knowledge, I said yes, there are problems. They have to be fixed through dialogue, consultation. I did it, madam.
In his state, he was misled. Could this be the reason why other people misled? But then, Tchiroma that atrocities have indeed been committed by the French Cameroonian military in areas. Yet, in the same breath, he defends the response to reports and protects the image of the artists, a duty that came with the ministerial position. This admission, while still solid, is a significant departure from this deflection that has characterized government rhetoric in recent years. That there is, but is that true? Let's take a listen.
I 100% agree with 100% agree. The responsibility of the community is defend our force arm. It happens very often. They are mutilated, they are mutilated, they are killed. The killing took place in both sides, which is completely different. Now, in my capacity and tomorrow head of the nation, the best way to address it, to know and information with all. This has to be done through dialogue.
Now positioning presidential candidate, Issa Chiroma is pledging a radically different up. He has promised to prioritize dialogue as the only path to ending the armed conflict that has ravaged the southern Cameroon in a decade. According to him, a solution cannot be through force, inclusive and honest conversation. He also pledged to release all potential a move that would mark a shift in the government of the Senate and opposition. Let's take a listen.
As it is done in many other countries, the Commission of Truth and Reconciliation, people to know what has taken place, may have been suppressed. Many have been suppressed. We want to take it. People were wrong, people were right. Let us exhume.
Right.
Let us go deep possible in order to go through dialogue, madam, and I will liberate all of you instrumental to the solution of this.
In an unexpected result, Tchiroma also spoke about addressing the impunity that has flourished during the war. When asked about government militias who have been benefiting from the conflict, he vowed to dismiss them, regardless of their rank or influence. He characterized the situation as unacceptable and assured that such individuals would not find a place in administration. Let's take a listen.
All of those who, beyond all reasonable doubt, involved in this process, let them be civilian. I will sack them. I will sack them. If it were for me to change its servant today, because the way that corruption is there, if it is possible to solve it, because have already their mindset in this ugly, unacceptable situation.
Perhaps most surprising is his newfound openness toward engaging with members of the Ambazonian movement, a group he once firmly opposed. Said he would not engage in dialogue, but also in those who can contribute to lasting peace and national unity, even from opposing sides. This drove shift in tone with suspicion and prompted, especially among those at the home front, who have suffered years of violence, displacement, criminalization. To some, this transfer may appear more as political opportunism than a genuine change of heart. Amin Kom, as part of his presidential campaign, raises Ambazonians through these promises is this just another calculated maneuver to gain vote? Wounds of conflict are still fresh, and trust, once broken, is not easily rebuilt. Words will no longer suffice. What matters is action, concrete toward justice and inclusion. Whether Issa Chiroma through a new path forward or merely a repackaged version of status quo remaining. What is certain, Amazon's population has heard many promises before. This time, the will watching closely. That's it for the elections. What is Mezam County draft? So let's take you through the historical review of Mezam County. Mezam County, with Bamenda as capital, stands one of the most vibrant and strategically important counties of Tanzania, hosting more than 1.5 million inhabitants across a surface area of 504 kilometers square. Mezam is divided into local government areas.
The number one most important thing for every Ambazonian to do right now is the draft. We stand at the threshold of an existential struggle, a pivotal juncture in our proud history that brooks no failure, tolerates no hesitation. So we will draft incessantly, individually, within the warm, vibrant tapestries of our communities. We will draft. We must draft. Draft, for in this paramount task, our draft lies the power to liberate Ambazonia.
Yeah, we apologize for those break there, but some of those videos of Issa Chiroma, we'll play them again. We're about bringing something from Mezam, but apparently in Studio 1 or Studio 2, we are facing some challenges with the connectivity. But very quickly, Barrister Fru, there's a few, I'm sure some of you would have watched snippets of this interview. You have Tchiroma there actually claiming, number one, that he was not aware of the Anglophone problem. So he was just teleguided and given a speech to read. But when he knew, he apologized. Number two, Tchiroma invoking the will of our forebears. And I'm very interested in that particular discussion, because we would like to remind him that his brother, Ngananko Aijo, the promises he made to our own folks before the United Nations was never respected. The promises he made, even in 1961, were never respected. He betrayed our forebears by invading our sovereign territory, usurping the authority of Foncha, and manipulating and dividing to conquer the leaders of the Southern Cameroons at the time. Issa Chiroma again is insisting that in spite of being a bootlicker, a worshipper of Bimvondo for decades, he wants us, including the people of Southern Cameroon, to trust him. Because if we trust him, he can possibly. He calls them Anglophone leaders before he was stopped at the airport, and he said his plan politique was to meet with these leaders, have conversations with them, and for them to see how we can respect the will of our forefathers. That is a very serious statement, and that's where we should discuss, because Bamenda is one of those places where they are trying to see if they could enforce or foster this manipulation and to get people into whatever elections they call it. So let's get to talk on that real quickly before the draft begins. Please, I'll begin with you, Barrister Fru.
Yes, buddy. Let me make this statement very clearly. In spite of what Bamenda people are going through, Bamenda people are resolute. You can see from the effectiveness of the ghost towns in Bamenda And if anybody thinks that he can create electoral villages, electoral whatever, and bring Bamenda people into it, he should think again, because no Bamenda man will come out on the 12th of October. It's a day that they will all stay home. There will be Mami Wata lockdown, and nobody can get a Bamenda man into any kind of electoral village or electoral hall or whatever they call it. I'm talking more especially of people in Bamenda town. Now, Paddy, I listened to Issa Chiroma very carefully. And having known how the system works, Tchiroma, I don't want to say that he is right, but I suspect that he might have been misled by the likes of Atanganji. Because if you remember, the first person who gave an interview to say that there is no Anglophone problem was Atanganji. It was not Issa Chiroma. Now, Issa Chiroma later on became Minister of Communication. And he was, everything that he had to say in a press conference was teleguided, was prepared from the presidency. And he has also lied.
But Fru, you really want to believe? But Fru, you want to believe? You want to believe Issa Chiroma that what he's saying today?
No. Listen to me very carefully. He has also lied by saying when he found out about the root causes, he apologized. That's not true. He apologized to whom? I have followed Issa Chiroma when I was in ground ground zero, right up to his interview with Meme Mefo. So he is a very smart politician, but mixing truth and lies. I will see how he can conduct a dialogue. We are not opposed to any dialogue as long as it is done by a neutral body, and we sit one-on-one, and as we sat in Puman,
one-on-one, two states of equal status.
Yes, government to government, equal status, and talk face to face. But that should not include us going back to La République of Cameroon to join them in whatever shape or form. No. We will be talking about terms of separation. Nothing more, nothing less. We have suffered for the last 8 years. We have lost more than 60,000 of our people. We cannot morally be seen to go back and talk to La Republic about how we can get together. Tchiroma should be made to understand that we are now a different country. We will be talking like from government to government. Until then, Tchiroma can go and do whatever he wants to do. He will not see Ambazonia.
Until, please.
Well, thank you for having me in this particular segment. See, this is Issa Chiroma. To properly analyze or understand Issa Chiroma, we must try to know who he is. Issa Chiroma was a government minister. But Issa Chiroma is not one of those people who are sleeping on golden beds and sleeping on drinking milk and honey. Issa Chiroma is one of the 12 candidates running for presidential elections. But he's the only one who has suffered the pain of a phobia, like you and me. Just for being in Northeast, he spent 6-7 years in Cholere prison. Detained there just for being in Northeast. He is the one who is coming out of jail in the hands of Paul Biya and then joining the government of Paul Biya and coming out of that very government to tell us his position. Again, he's not running for president of Ambazonia, he's running for president of Cameroon. And I take his words seriously. Because whether he likes it or not, what is important now is what he has said publicly. We are yet to hear from the 11 other candidates who are running for the presidential elections. What do they say about the so-called and confirmed problem? Notably, remember, Issa Chiroma is from Garawa. He's not even a neighbor of Ambazonia. But we are still to hear from our own Ambazonian sons who are running for that thing. What we know is that Mr. Joshua Osi say I will solve the problem in 100 days. How? We don't know. Osi has not even told us. Even I've had the opportunity even to apologize for being a signatory to the document that called that we should be arrested and sent to jail for daring to mention the Anglophone problem. Call it like that. Osi has not done it. We have not heard anything from Akerimona. These are our own sons and daughters who are running for that coveted office over there. And so I give credit to this man for even just telling the truth. Yes, he was misled, or whether he was misled or not. But we must not forget, we are also educated people. He was a minister of communication. And he said, I listened to that interview, he's not responsible for what he said. He was the spokesman of a government. And he spoke for the government. Even from a government ministry, they gave him what to write, and he wrote and spoke. Now he's running as an independent person. But let us take him for what he says. And again, he's a victim. Issa Chiroma is a victim. If he says so, I don't doubt him. Because should he keep to his word? I doubt. All what he said is that he will try to negotiate. That's a good start. He said, the only thing he said, which it has not been mentioned there somewhere, he said that well, he will negotiate everything, but he will not negotiate for the separation of camp, for the split of his country. That's so good. Negotiation is what it is. You don't determine the outcome until you get it to a table and make your case. Jelek, come to Andre was saying it. No, they were agreed to negotiate with us. That's the problem we have with Yaoundé. Why is the war going on? Because in 2016, Paul Biya's government would not even dare hear what we're saying. They rather declare war on us. And so now they're running for their own elections. Let us hear what each of them says. We have said 1,000 times, we're not taking part in the elections. But what goes on there is not important to us. We'll follow those things. At least we can quote Issa Chiroma. We can challenge him. We are yet to hear what even Mr. Paul Biya himself, who said that he would defeat us in 2 weeks. Who said that the 2 cubes of sugar will melt? Who sent troops under his order to go down and eliminate our children, burn our villages, kill Ayafo, Florence Ayafo, kill Chere Ngabo? We have not heard from them. These are all candidates. We have not heard anything from our own people who instrumentalize. Atanganji, we have not heard him say that he made a mistake. He led troops to Benin and killed hundreds of our own children. We have not heard anything from Mr. Mosonge. These are our own so-called our own political elites or leaders. And so if this Pongana man is even saying something all the way from Garawa, I think I should give him credit for even saying it. We have our own sons who have said nothing. They have made no promise. Other than that, they will solve the problem. The Almighty has said, I don't know how, we don't know how. And that's the guy who signed the death warrant for us. You apologize for doing that. And so I would rather say we'll listen to Mr. Issa Chiroma carefully. We'll take his words seriously. If he wins, let him be prepared to meet with us on the terms that we all agree. And we'll just separate on that table on equal terms for justice and peace. That's just what it is. The principle has been go to the peace conference, the negotiation without precondition. Someone said, we're going there on condition that there will be no pressure between the
By Mbeseha, this is my opinion. I respect everything that you both have said. My opinion is that it is just Issa Chiroma is not a candidate. What I'm saying is a little sarcastic, but like I said, it's my opinion. I think that the Franco Cameroon Mafia has staged Bello Buba Maigari and Issa Chiroma as a strategic attempt to distract people from having a true leader rise up. Because the same Tchiroma that will be denied not going out because he is somebody that should be arrested, and by some reason becomes a qualified candidate, and Kamto, they would manipulate some ways to make Kamto not to be a candidate. So this is it. They know that, okay, if we bring Tchiroma, that's my analysis, so it could be wrong. They know that, okay, if we bring Tchiroma and Bello Buba Maigari to distract the North will say, okay, we are represented in the election, and these two people can't win. That's a fact. Now, then we have already technically displaced the person that could win, who is a Bami. And then they pick some of these rascals. Yeah, there's a young guy that came from Douala the other day and just get some anglophones. You have Muna within the past 2 weeks has just been the ridicule of the century. He started by taking President Biya to court, and the case has been kicked out constitutional court. He moved on to the next phase by seeking or proposing a coalition to say that that is the only way the incumbent can be removed. Apparently, Joshua was saying he's not able to start a conversation in that regard. So, if there's any Kabali and the others are not even willing to talk about it. Now he has digressed, indicating what I thought earlier on. He's now saying they should give him 5 years. And within that 5 years, he's going to create a special part, create institutions. Firstly, recognizing, I don't think he's recognizing only now, but probably as a way, because he realizes every other thing has failed. He's recognizing the way whatever they are doing now is not an election. There is no competent framework to organize an election. And so he removed the shame from my face to now make people see that I know that there's a problem. But let's just go around with it. Give me 5 years, and I will leave after 5 years when I will create the institution for a proper election. This is a ridicule, Barrister Fru.
Yes, Paddy. Let me give you my own political evaluation.
Yeah.
Let nobody make the mistake of writing off Kamto, Professor Kamto. He might have been rejected and is quiet, but he's working, and I have information that he's working day and night. If Professor Kamto associates himself with Tchiroma and they finally go and get a man like Bello Buba to join, if the CPDM had not rigged the election by now, and I suspect that they must have rigged, they will win this election, because the North has vomited the CPDM. They have done everything to campaign in the North, and they have not held one single rally that works in the North, in the Grand North. That is Adamawa, North, and Extreme North. And if Tchiroma and Kamto get together and they bring in Bello Buba, and it is an election that is slightly fair, they are likely to win. Because Kamto has an electorate that he cannot just abandon. We have seen the crowd pulling in Douala, in Yaoundé, in Bakusam. We have seen it. And if he takes that same momentum and joins Tchiroma and Bello in the North, the presidency is going to the North. That is if the election is slightly fair. Unless CPDM has already rigged, like most of us are suspecting, Tchiroma, Kamto, and Bello should win. Thank you, Paddy.
Barrister Mbeseha. You have been on this all week. Please stop.
Uh,
Pastor
the thing
Mbeseha,
is this: we're
you
giving
have been on this
opinions.
all week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're giving opinions, and this is what I think. You see,
Yeah.
to me, uh, Chiroma and Buba Bello have turned out being a terrible embarrassment to the Yawande junta. If they had gone to the house, they would never have believed that these guys would turn out to be saying what they are saying against them, that they have been in government for the past 20 years. So they are embarrassed. We don't know where the scale of Anglophone problem fits. Where are we in the total solutions problems of Cameroon? That the people in Cameroon want to run for elections. Where do we fit? We don't know. But this is the only candidate who is running who will win. Whether he wins or not, this is the only candidate who has come out publicly to say what he has said. That's why I said earlier that you make a public statement, we hold you accountable for it. And so we don't care. We have said that there are no elections going to take place there. Somebody will be selected to be the president. If perchance Mr. Tchiroma is selected, we're going to hold him accountable for what he has said publicly to everybody. That's just the bottom line. Mr. Paul Biya, who is also a candidate for the selection, has said nothing. Neither has any other candidate said anything that we can even be. We're not debating any other person here. Tchiroma. Why? Because he has said something. We're not talking anything about them. But he has ventured to say something that might be good or bad, that we might trust or not trust. But he has made a public promise, which is what is. I don't think anybody choosing him at the time when they let him, they knew that he could win. All their fear was Kamto,
Yeah.
and Kamto, they kept him out. Even if Kamto supports a candidate and that candidate wins, it is the promise of that candidate that will hold the person accountable. If Tchiroma wins with the support of if Tchiroma wins Kamto, we're not going to say, well, Mr. Tchiroma, Mr. Kamto, you promised us this. No? Tchiroma will be the president for the 5 years or whatever length of time he has chosen, and we shall hold him accountable with his coalition. So too in other person. If by a wonderful chance, Joshua, you see Mr. Joseph Osi, who signed the document and tell us, yeah, because you're OC and the president, it's a presidential system. And so again, a few weeks ago, we are discussing Tchiroma in a thing that has been declared, the presidential election has been declared open. That's the only candidate who has ventured to say something that he like or he don't like, but he has said something
Okay.
for which
I simply brought all of that, Barrister Mbeseha. I brought all of that into conversation because I wanted us to look at something very important. All of this, you see him talking about Anglophones, is because he wants to mobilize the Southern Cameroon community. And we know if this election is permitted to happen in any part of Ambazonia, we have just a few minutes, so I want us to round off now so we can give over the mic to the draftees. If this election is allowed to freely to go on in Southern Cameroon seamlessly, that will not only be a big slap in the face of the people of Southern Cameroon, but it is another defiance again of our sovereignty. And we are yet to draft the epicenter of the war in Ambazonia, which is Mezam. And you have mentioned that Bamenda is bigger than Mezam. Bamenda is bigger than even most parts of Southern Cameroon. So please, let's look at this very closely. What should we tell people of Ambazonia today? Barrister Fru started that conversation. What should we tell even Mezam County? Because we know that the people of Ambazonia tend to, I said this when we were drafting Momo last week, when the Momo County leadership took responsibility of the fact that they are aware that certain individuals within Momo County have not been in alignment with government institutions and structures. Same with Mezam. it is said, you are the elders that will tell us that to whom much is given, much is expected. And the people of Ambazonia have a way of reacting to people or counties when they realize that you are not in sync with the pilot structures that are in place within government. That means you don't respect government institution. You are not in sync with the federal government draft. It could affect the way Ambazonians participate in mobilization. We are a few minutes away to talking to the people of Ambazonia. The president, in his usual mannerism, has sent out an audio to encourage Ambazonians, in spite of what we are all aware. The leadership, we don't, right now, I don't know who is the leader of Mezam County. And I'm asking, I don't know why it would take long for Mezam to get a leader. It's a major county. But leadership style in Mezam is questionable. What are we to tell the people of Amba this time? Now that you are all government officials, we are seeking to see what the people of Amba should see the need to see how to help the federal government to revamp this county and to set back accurate government leadership in the county. What is there to say, Barrister Fru? That's your county.
Yes.
I think the body lies with you on this.
The first thing that the federal government should do after this draft is to reorganize Mezam. Mezam has no leadership. I know the president of the local government, Bamenda 2 Nkwenza, is acting now as the interim president. I don't know of any vice. I don't know of any vice. Of course, we know that Gilda, for what she has been, Manko Bachomba is virtually dead. It's not being managed by her. She doesn't care anymore. So it is time to reorganize Mezam and to get a proper leadership for Mezam. But for now, the president of Nkwenja is doing his best. Dr. Marcellus is doing his best. He is the one who is organizing this draft. And let's see, after the draft, the federal government will step in to reorganize Mezam. Having said that, I am calling on all Mezam sons and daughters to get on board and raise whatever money we can raise today, so that when the federal government is coming, we will already be doing a lot of work on the ground. Mezam needs help right now, but you cannot help somebody who cannot begin to help himself. So we must draft and show to the federal government that we are ready for a takeoff, because Mezam was destroyed by the coup plotters, and before then, some people who claim to be managing the military took financing from the federal government with no accountability. But Mezam remains a very important county in the whole of southern Cameroon. Therefore, the federal government should now put together a team to reorganize Mezam and put a proper functioning political structure in Mezam and a proper military coordinators for Mezam. That is where Mezam will come back and begin the process of liberating Bamenda. Again, Bamenda remains the epicenter of the revolution of the southern Cameroons and Ambazonia. In spite of all the lack of leadership, Bamenda is still standing strong. So let's resuscitate Mezam, and in the course of it, resuscitating Bamenda. Thank you very much.
By Mbeseha, please.
Well, we don't have much to say about that. I mean, Mezam, the Mezamites are adults. They are full-grown people, educated as much as I know. I don't think I can come to teach Dr. Mr. Nsoh what Mezam should do. They know exactly what to do. Because all what I need as a person from Mezam is the promise that we had from Momo. What was the promise? The people who were here with us told us we shall be up to the task. There's a problem there. It is not only in Mezam. It has existed in other counties. It existed in Momo first. And remember, all the time that Momo was having those problems, I always ask one question. Those fellows who belong to Choayaba, were they operating from the sky or they were living in people's houses? They lived with the Momo people. And then they did all that. But there came a time that they disappeared. They no longer lived there. Some of them died. The Fangs and the rest were
The rest
dead.
are in Bamenda town. The rest are in Bamenda town.
Yeah, I'm talking about Momo. The Fangs and the rest died. Their bodies were thrown in the market square. There was nobody even to bury them. And so the Mezam might know themselves. Shall they be up to the task? They must. Shall they do this alone? No, we have to assist them in whatever form or shape we can. Again, as I've said, what's going on in Mezam is not alone. There are other countries that have similar problems. But we must be up to the task because Ambazonia is all of us. It's not one county. We shall not free Ambazonia leaving Mezam behind. Neither shall we leave the BLM. Neither shall we live in Dian. Together we must succeed. And so that's what I can encourage them. To go ahead because they know the individual. They are very educated gentlemen. They are adult by their own maturation, have children. So they are being misled. It is for them to think twice and to make a final, let them behave like Momo. They should be up to the task of rebuilding. No revolution succeeds without intruders, without invaders, without infiltrators. It's always there. Infiltration is part of the game to defeat you. And so they must be up to the task. I think people like Mr. Nsoh are here who can trust him. He's not just a lawyer, he's an elder. He's an elder by his own age. That he can wait a lot of influence, and he should. But again, they need our collective support, which we are going to do as far as we can. But together, we must succeed. Over to you.
And just so we are not misunderstood. Yes, I'm going to give you the mic. I'll give you the mic just to make a comment. Just so we are not misunderstood. We're not trying to bash our counties, but we want people to look at this very closely. Every time, like Mbeseha has said, that's not the only county that infiltration has taken place or where there's been a misunderstanding within leadership structures. But let's observe something. Every county is facing almost the same challenge. Some might have advantage over the other, probably because of their communities and geography. Like Bamenda has a significant disadvantage. It is a cosmopolitan with mixed multitudes, with Tongtus, Bulus. Now sometimes you cannot know who is supposed to be there. So that's a major challenge in Bamenda, which we recognize.
Oh yes, good
leadership can help solve some of these problems, like what is currently happening in different counties. You realize where we lose a lot of fighters and we have a lot our defense framework dismantled is when there's a problem with leadership. Because I realized something for the past 4 or 5 years is that a lot of counties or county leaders that did not understand the Amba Peace Plan to transform it into partisan politics that will resist government. They didn't understand that. And it backfired on their own counties. So this is why we are bringing this, because this is a time that we have an opportunity to have a conversation and to see the importance of the structures that are being created for us to respect them for our own good. So that's just a clarification I wanted to give. It's not a witch hunt. It is a necessary conversation. By Fru, please.
Yes, let's start. Let's get to the most urgent, the La Republic elections. Paddy, having said what we said about Mezam, I don't see any kind of La Republic election taking place in any LGA in Mezam. No way. I can tell you that. You can even wake me from sleep and I will tell you nobody's going to vote, go for election or go out to vote in Mezam. I say this. I'm not including the military who are there who would vote. I'm not including some of the so-called elites who are teaching in the University of Bamenda and other remnants are floating around. But I'm talking about the purely Mezam citizenry. Nobody is going out for those elections. Why? Because if there's any county that has suffered in the hands of La République du Cameroun as much, it's Mezam. And every Mezam child growing up knows that. Even Willie de Paris, who is in Paris, knows that Mezam is a county that has suffered most under La République du Cameroun. And it will be very, very disheartening to hear that a certain LGA, some people went out there and voted successfully. Now, having said that about Mezam, let me go to Momo. I have been very, very worried about what I saw in Andek. A video from Andek, where openly in the marketplace, La République, the Elecam, was openly registering people. I confronted the chairman of the Mogamo LGA, and I asked him, what is going on in Momo? And he told me that Momo was being reorganized, and I should be rest assured that before the elections, their forces will be working. Their Ambazonia State Army forces will be working 24/7, and there will not be election even in Andek. So I'm watching what is going to happen in Andek. If anybody comes out in Andek to vote, I will ask this same question to Nelson Oshiba, because Andek is in the subdivision where Oshiba comes from. If anybody votes, because that video, I want him to be involved. I want him to be involved. Yes.
I want you to know that. Listen, I would like you to know. I'm not speaking for Ochiba, but Ochiba is critically involved. But you realize that if the leadership is not in sync with Ochiba, you know, Ochiba is extreme. He's not a moderate when it comes to his opinion. So if the leadership is not in sync with you, it might, and you know, if Ochiba sees anything that is not right there, he will not even sleep that night without telling Amazonians that, listen, this particular thing in my county is not there. I understand that the old leadership or some members within had him kicked out of the county. This is a time, it is not even a time for us to have that conversation. I would think that now that Mezam is trying to bring the leadership of Momo together, first of all, bring people like Ochiba back into the country.
Yes.
Those who are listening, bring whatever at this time, bring back people that were sent out because they had contravening opinion. For instance, in Momo, my father is a chief from Kendem. My mother is from a royal family in Momo. I cannot come into Momo and kick me out. That's disrespectful.
Yes.
But I want to have a conversation here. A few members of Momo were not happy. They influenced the leadership of Momo to kick me out of Momo County. So these are some of the mistakes that they are making, and that's not correct. So I don't want you to blame Ochiba, because Ochiba might not be.
No. Paddy, you misunderstood me. I mentioned Ochiba because he is very, very, very important. He is very important in Momo. I'm sure that he is working on this question of election in Momo. Having seen that video from Andek, I know that.
Yep.
Uchiba is a bulldozer. It's a bulldozer, and I am using this medium to call on him to ensure that nobody votes from G, particularly from Andek.
Amazing. So
that's what I was saying.
Nobody votes anywhere in Bamenda. We've heard Barrister Fru assure us here that no election would take place. Ambazonians, if you don't want elections to take place anywhere in Ambazonia, especially in Mezam, which is going to be a critical mistake if we let that happen, tonight you have to draft. I don't want to take too much time for us talking on this. I think that you have to draft tonight. You have to draft. We're going to be giving the mic so that at least the draft can start. I don't know if the officials are ready, but we'll be giving the mic to them so that the draft can start. And we will take this musical break. When we come back, we will definitely just be streaming for your pleasure the draft exercise. Stay tuned.
Mandono kwana fuota me muntu lentu wo kwa yes ne jugnale shugo yena ne team kana fucking tuntunga ne team ka manzungwege loklieli etezo wana mtete biye malungu ndu mzungu katenga mayembi bule bani lona ni mwana kanga utiga machakile okay manzungu wa msono ngabiloku ka obeso kanga pro na te oh zang malazima unga kama mavyo tenwa manzungu aga belimdo tenwa manzungu aga Mandono kwana fuota mo muntu lentuwe kwa yes ne chebele pa na mono la ko uji mati shenku kuna e bugalo man cheka sarate go cheki funga anga bu chugu ma bu chugu ko tuntu te unga be so ma warle ne mananda ma uterle wa anga ata bugalo digna da pase lo nga ara bu digna go be to ko mo bu mo tina chata do tuntu kan so ma cheka sarate baba abi jambe mo fa ka sa zene chimugla ni chitingo la na baba mabyo tenu akasarale belimdo tenu akasaralo Mandono kwana fuota mo sing it there. Sing it. Open up. Yakara. Nilana fucking bossy. Ngo sene lana gang ambu wene yumju tane ke tingi gende beta nilana ndu tingo on la ngo tin nong bon na mega tingar ka jiwe iyo ani ke ni tese chuka jiwe ndiye jiwe la ngo za chike ji wachite nong no boro chike chine kono majo kono ne boro Ishema kushaka yebilo mo mutu letuwa Manjong no kwana fuota mo wiko ba wakunde mizma Tuela Etiola Belimdo go no one for Africa. Oh, Baba Majo, go no one for Africa. Don't want to put them all move away. I tried to try me. Oh, Baba Majo, you did what happened. Oh, did you only did what happened? Mama gila ni bom na kwekere.
On the beats.